Hi, I'm Ian Firestone, web developer since 1998. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to explain and show you what's involved in starting a website. The internet is a vast network of interconnected computers. Originally, it contained hundreds of computers. Now there are billions of users, devices, and sites all exchanging information. I'm going to simplify this network for illustration's sake. On one side, we have the computers of users, individuals who are accessing websites. Most people who use the internet fall into this category. Users connect to the internet by their internet service providers, or ISPs, which are companies such as Comcast, Verizon, or Charter, among others. If you're looking to start a website, then you're talking about leveraging the internet from the supply side. Internet content, such as websites, are supplied by servers, computers specifically designed to deliver data requested by users. Most servers are located at hosting companies. In between the ISPs and hosting companies, there are various types of Internet Exchange Points, or IXPs, that connect the supply and demand ends of the Internet and regulate them. In most cases, a website is actually a folder on a server. Often, one server will contain numerous websites. My website, ianfirestone.com, is a folder named ianfirestone.com on a server, and it's just one of a dozen sites that I manage on that server. My server is one of hundreds located at a hosting company, again, a company which specializes in configuring and maintaining servers for clients like me and my clients. This is the way most websites connect to the internet, from small sites to the very large. Only the largest commercial websites and university-run sites tend to use different setups. Of course, having a folder on a server named ianfirestone.com doesn't make it the official ianfirestone.com of the World Wide Web. How did I make it official? Let's look at terminology, beginning with the term website. Site is synonymous with location and address and the word domain. Users often refer to a website mistakenly as a web page. The term web page is really a throwback to the earliest days of the internet when most websites really were just a page. A web page is just what it sounds like, a single page, a single document at a website. A website, in most cases, contains numerous pages or documents. These days, some websites, including some that I've created and managed, are thousands of pages. Again, in most cases, a website is just a folder on a server, and the term site refers to all the content available within that folder's location. And that location, or web address, is obviously correlated with the site's name. To connect the name of my site, ianfirestone.com, with its actual location, the folder on my server, I had to go to an internet registrar to purchase the right to use that domain name, assuming it wasn't already registered to someone else. Internet registrars keep track of all the official domains, who owns them, and where those sites' servers are located. Without registrars, multiple sites could claim the same domain name, undermining the reliability of the internet. There are hundreds of registrars with names like Network Solutions, GoDaddy, DirectNick, MojoHost, 1&1, and Verio, to name a few. And each of these transact with the public through their own websites. Domain names are leased by these registrars in yearly increments. When I purchased one or more years of the domain name ianfirestone.com, I became the official owner of that domain and the one who decides the registered location of its server. Hosting companies have their own registered address on the internet called name server addresses, which are unique to each hosting service. I input my hosting company's name server address at my registrar, thus connecting my domain name, ianfirestone.com, with my hosting company. Now, when an internet user requests ianfirestone.com or clicks a link that connects to one of the files on my site, that request goes from the user's computer to their internet service provider. The ISP relays the request through the internet exchanges to the registered location where my site is hosted. The hosting company automatically directs the request to the appropriate server, and my server directs the request to the appropriate folder that contains all my website's files. Data from the requested files are then sent back along that whole route to the user. This, of course, is an oversimplified diagram of the process, but it illustrates what takes place between the time you click a link and the moment the associated data begins to appear on your screen. We have just covered the 4 steps involved in making a website go live on the internet. Let's review what these steps are. Register the domain name, lease server space from a hosting company, file the host's name server address with your registrar. Create the files that comprise your website, and you place them in the folder that is your website location on your server. Step 4 is where a website owner must make a decision. Who is going to create and maintain the files on the server? There are essentially 3 choices. You can create the files yourself, you can hire a freelance web developer, such as myself, or hire a web development team, such as from an agency. If you need help with this decision, please see my video titled Who Should Build My Website?, in which I discuss important considerations involved in doing it yourself or hiring a professional or a team. Now let's move on to the process of developing the files for your site and transferring them to your server. The programs that are used to browse the internet are aptly called browsers. These are user-end programs like Firefox, Internet Explorer, Chrome, and Safari. You're probably using one of these browsers right now. Browsers know how to interpret specific kinds of documents and properly format their contents on a user's computer screen. The most basic and universal type of web document is an HTML file. HTML is a programming language that a person can learn in just a few weeks. You can create HTML files using the most basic text and word processing programs. There are other, more involved programming languages that browsers can interpret, such as PHP, VBScript, JavaScript, and PerlScript, among others. Lines of programming code, however, don't look anything like the pages you're creating. There are programs that let you design web pages, seeing both their layouts and the code at the same time while you work. These are known as WYSIWYG programs. WYSIWYG means what you see is what you get. Web pages, of course, usually require multimedia elements such as graphics, buttons, photographs, animation, sounds, and/or video. Creating multimedia content for your website can require a variety of different devices, software, and skills. Much of the hardware, like cameras, microphones, and camcorders, are found in most households, and formatting their files for the internet can be learned with simple online tutorials or the device's manuals themselves. Professionals, of course, will tend to have better equipment, more experience, and get better results in shorter amounts of time than beginners. As you might assume, the person who creates the files for a website does so on his or her own computer, whether at home or at work. This is referred to as the local computer, where the files are usually developed. Once the files on a local computer seem to display and function as intended in a browser, they can be uploaded, meaning transmitted, to the remote computer, which is the server. This transfer is performed using an FTP program. FTP stands for File Transfer Protocol. An FTP program can be configured with the location and access codes of one or more remote computers. It will display the local files in one column and the remote files in another. In other words, the files on your computer or the developer's computer appear on one side, the files that are live on the server appear on the other. The webmaster can then drag the local files to the remote side, and the FTP program will update the server's files. Files residing on an active server are live and viewable by your site's internet audience. Making changes to your web files on your local computer does not affect what your site's visitors see until you upload the changed files to your remote computer, replacing the old ones with the new. Your visitors won't see the changes until they revisit the updated pages or refresh those pages in their browsers. So to review, the ingredients you will require for creating and managing the files on your website are a local computer with an internet connection, web development programs and/or web development languages, multimedia equipment and programs, if required, an FTP program to connect your local computer to your server. Now, just because you have a live website with viewable content doesn't mean anyone out there is looking at your site. If the intended use of your site is private, then making the web address known to its private audience can be done by contacting them directly, such as by email, snail mail, or even a text message. However, if you wish for your site to be made highly visible, especially to a target or qualified audience, then you need to seriously consider and apply web marketing strategies. There are many things that can be done for free or cheaply that are very effective, And likewise, there are costly promotional options that might fail to yield appreciable results. One can learn effective marketing strategies for one's particular type of site through trial and error, industry journals, and online tutorials over a period of months or years. Or one can develop a website in conjunction with a developer who has internet marketing expertise. Again, I recommend you also watch my video titled, Who Should Build My Website? This is the end of my instructional web video titled, How to Start a Website. I hope you found this video helpful. I'm Ian Firestone. Thank you for watching.